Hey guys, it's October 7th right now, and here's an update on my Ataulfo rootstocks. We had a pretty nice warm September for the first half, and then it kind of cooled down. Most of October right now has been pretty gray and cloudy in the morning. Right now, the sun's popping out, but it's kind of getting close to noontime. That's been the pattern, at least for the last week or more, of weather so far. So, even though you see the sun coming out, it's still a little bit grayish. So, let's kind of take a look at everything and see how it's going. Here's my not my oldest tree, but one of the largest trunk right here that I have on this. Okay, let me see what's kind of going on. There's some Maha fruits right here. These are the grafts. I have pretty much countless varieties on here. We're not gonna go through everything because most of the stuff ain't really doing anything. They're kind of just there, but there's no fruits or anything on it yet. But let's see. Here's a cac. This is one of the most vigorous growers for me. And let's see. I think this is a little gem fruit right here. There's a pineapple pleasure right here on these, kind of small. Okay, now let's kind of take a look at everything else. Here's some fruits of what I think was, I lost a tag on this years ago, but it was kind of sold to me as a cowbell. I'm not sure if it is or not. It's definitely not a Laverne Manila. It's definitely something that came from Florida, and there's some fruits on it right now. The variety's been very fungal prone for me, so I occasionally get some fruits off of it every maybe 4 or 5 years. So that's what that is. There's some Nam Duck Mai that's still hanging around. Here's one right here. You can probably see a bunch right there. Here's my Cal Gourmet. That's been just kind of shortening it to Cal Gourmet. Very nice sized fruit right now. It's beginning to plump up where it kind of loses that long kind of Asian mango look, and it gets pretty round. It could get pretty oval, I would say, pretty oval. So it's pretty loaded right now. Let's see, take a look at that. Here's a Laverne Manila seedling, a unique one that produces there's a big spider right there that produces nearly fiberless flesh. There's some fiber near the seed, but not much. So that's an interesting one. Here's the Nam Duck Mai. You guys see, there's tons of fruit. We had a nice warm September, and I didn't do any spraying at all. Usually I have to do because it gets powdery mildew even this late in the year. I'm in October right now, and I'm in Southern California. And look at this. I can tell already these are really nice, healthy fruitlets. Look at the shape. See, so these are Nam Duck Mai on a September bloom. And there is a lot more of it all over the kind of the ridge of that right now. Maybe on the next time when I do an update on this, I'll put a ladder up and you can kind of see up close how they're shaping up to be. But I could tell, right, these looks great. Look at the shape of it. They're not nubbins or anything like that. Very healthy fruit, and that's because of the pretty warm September we had. It was unusually nice and warm. So there's some more blooms right here. You can see. So that's the kind of off seasonality of the Nam Duck Mai number 4. It kind of wants to bloom 3 times a year, 2-3 times a year. So lots of them. Here's some more blooms right here. So pretty fortunate because I didn't spray. I was thinking of spraying, but then I just never got a chance. So it's looking pretty cool. I'm gonna have some what I would call winter fruits. For the most part, these were sized up during the winter, and I'll probably be eating them around December, January as a green mango, right? As a green sour mango, not as a ripe mango. If I let this kind of hang on until next year, these would ripen around April. But the flavor's not that good. It's kind of like cool weather. You don't really get that strong sugar content that you should kind of get sometimes with the Nam Duck Mai and the honey-like flavors. So more of a green mango, more of an off-seasonal fruit mango. But yeah, but let's. I think that kind of covers everything. Here's some another angle of the fruits on these, which is pretty loaded, pretty decent year. I would say there's probably was a probably 100 fruits on this tree. We're picking it quite a bit. Um, all right, so let's check out the next tree. All right, so here's the next tree, guys, and I've done quite a bit of work on this, and I'm very, very happy how it's turning out. My main goal of this was really to get some dwarf varieties on it, but specifically a variety called Iman Basan. It's a kind of like a very light, almost white flesh Indian variety. It's very good. It's one of my favorites, but it is a very slow growing, very dwarf growing, very droopy growing variety. I wouldn't even recommend it for people to grow if you were growing on a small tree. But if you have something that's like an old tree, like what I'm messing around with here, which is like, huge rootstocks, right? We're talking about like this right here. Then I would say, yeah, graft on it. It should slow down the vigor a bit. But it's I made tons of graft I got from my buddy Brian. You can see the new flush that's coming out. So that's the second flush that's coming out of it. But it is looking great. I am very happy about it. I mean, I must have made like a dozen more grafts of it on it. So that kind of is going to eventually end up being the bulk of the canopy of this tree. But I am putting a lot of different dwarf varieties on this. So you can see here, this is the Julie right here. I have a couple more Julie grafts right there. This one's here, Juliet, which I grafted last year, and it's a very slow grower, but on something this old as a rootstock, it's been growing really nicely. So that one's Juliet, also a dwarf variety. Here's ice cream right there. You can see right there. Got two taking. Hopefully that takes for me and does much better. I have struggled quite a bit with growing the ice cream variety. Several of my grafts always fizzle out and die on me after 2-3 years of it. Let's see what else I got on here. There's a Sun Paris I grafted there. I think that one might be a little bit more moderately growing, so I'm not sure how long I could keep it there before it wants to take over. So I have to prune that. There's some Thai varieties one can see, slower growers, so they should be okay. I got a Juicy Peach right there. Grafted some Jahangir. Grafted quite a bit of Neelam, so the Neelam's been growing pretty well. Look, this is Neelam right here. So Neelam's growing well, few Neelams. The dwarf Hawaiian is right here, another slow grower that is growing really well. Another Munkansi. So I think that kind of covers about everything I have on here. I think that covers it, but I do want to, I do have a carry somewhere right here. I think there's a carry somewhere back there. I think I drew on some of the slower zero growing unnamed varieties. So we'll see. I do want to get some more dwarf varieties on here, but I think I accomplished like about 80% of what I wanted to in terms of the graft, which is kind of getting that Iman Basan on here, one of my favorites. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this side yet, right? This side still is, so this is an Ataulfo rootstock, but this side is still holding on to my Calromit grafts, right? There's some fruits on it. See how they're plumping up? They look very, very, very good right now, Not a great soft, ripe eating variety, but it's excellent as a green sour mango. It's excellent as a mature, hard, crunchy mango. So it's kind of getting there, where it's gonna the flesh are turning orange, and then you can kind of eat it hard and crunchy. But I still got quite a bit of that on here. I'm not sure how much of it I'm gonna leave on yet. So, but that's how it looks like. Very happy with this grafting project for my 2025. It was a good accomplishment for me this year. So let's check out the next one. And this one's gonna have some projects next year because I really do need to take out. So again, another Ataulfo rootstock. This is Carol Mint, like this side right here. And there's some Laverne Manila here. I have some Super Alfonso grafted, some Pickering that I put recently, but they're still smaller grafts. I'll show you guys some of the bigger grafts and some of the fruits that's hanging on to it. So here's my Maha right here. I kind of been calling this my fake Maha. So there's a couple strains of Maha out there. I'd say probably at least 3 that I'm aware of. And this one doesn't have the strong aroma of the Atang Maha when it ripens, but it's been a good grow for me. So most people have been asking me about it. I said, you know, most of the Maha seems to have the same growth pattern so far. Maybe subtle differences in aroma or flavor, or maybe even subtle differences in growth pattern, but either one you should be kind of good going with. So this one's grown really, really nice. Here's my Super Julie right here. This is Super Julie. This is huge, right? Just look at that. That's all Super Julie. It's kind of taking about a quarter of the canopy here. But I have not been too successful with getting it to fruit. But I didn't think I had any fruit until I found maybe about half a dozen fruits in this, you know, huge canopy that I've been quite surprised by. So seems like the ants are getting to some of them. We're gonna have to figure something out. There's a Super Julie here. There's some Super Julie here. There's some scale and stuff on this, which is kind of a bit disgusting. I need to clean it up. But again, something I only discovered on it recently because I thought I had no fruits. Here's a huge one. I had bagged it. I've been trying a new different bag technique, and also I'll probably unwrap it and show you guys. So a couple more Super Julie fruits right there. So good, like I think a good. Oh, there's one more. I think like a good 3, 4, 5, maybe over half a dozen. But let me unwrap this for you. I'm trying a new bagging technique. I do graft this. I mean, I do use both these bags in the past, right? So what I've done in the past, I use this metal mesh bag or this bag. Either way, like sometimes you can't even stop the squirrels. They just come in and they try to just bite through the mesh or everything. So I'm actually doing a combination of both on this, where I am putting this metal mesh bag and this white bag over it and see how it does, how effective that could be against any kind of squirrels or anything like that, you know. Let's see. Okay, so that's one. Fortunately, I'm working with one hand, so it's kind of hard to show, but this one's a huge one. This one's a huge Super Julie fruit. Okay, so that's Super Julie. I am really happy because I'm finally getting to taste it. It has not been as productive for me as I hoped. You know, it's been a very, very good grower, just not productive. Flowers always seem disease resistant, leaves and everything. Look at this. Beautiful leaves, beautiful growth pattern, just has not been productive. And especially at this point where it's taking up like a quarter the size of this canopy, right? Okay, now let's go on to the star of this whole kind of graft, even though it's still a small branch. You can see the graft right here. Very small graft, right? It's kind of split like 3 or 4 ways, branching. And only reason why I'm letting it fruit because I plan to do a lot more grafting of this variety, which is M4, but I really needed to do to see if it does well for me here. You know, there's not much information on it in California, and it has performed remarkably. So here's the same kind of bagging on it. I picked the fruit a couple weeks ago, and it did ripen perfectly, even though it looks a little bit green like this, right? Green like this, it did still ripen perfectly. So here's another one. I am going to be picking this after this video. You know, I'm picking this after this video and ripening them. I might leave one on here to see if the bricks increase. The one that I picked, and that was picked 2 weeks ago, and it ripened, had a bricks of about 22, 23. I wonder if one that sits here a bit longer will end up with a higher bricks content. We'll see, but I might leave one on here. It's about 3 or 4 fruits on here. I'm gonna try to get some into a tasting so some of my friends could try it out. So, let's see. I'll come back and I'll be doing another video of me picking the fruits on this. Okay. So that is an update on this one. On to the next one. I did forget to show you guys a calumet, but you guys seen it before. Fairly nice size. There's some right here. There's a few here. Probably like 3 or 4 dozen that we got on this one. So, okay, just gonna show you guys that. On to the next one. Okay, guys, here's the next trees. These are kind of like on the north side of the house. Most of this is calumet. You can see some of the huge fruits are still hanging on here. That's probably was about like probably 2 dozen of them right here that we just kind of ended up picking already. So that's still hanging, and I'm gonna show you guys the peach cobbler. Here's the peach cobbler. Try to get a better angle on this. There's probably about, I would say, about a good 2 dozen peach cobblers. Yeah, so I think they might be ready to pick. So I am going to be picking some after this video to try to ripen it and see if it works out. See if it works out right. So here's like another one, looking really good. So peach cobbler here. Someone there. Here. On top one right there. So we'll be picking this after the video. So peach cobbler. So that's an update. We'll see. I'm gonna start picking some and see how they ripen. But yep, that's an update of everything right now. And this one I do plan to do a big project also probably next year, which is a lot of taking off a lot of calumet and putting probably maha on this one right here, so all right, guys, well, that's an update for now. Till next time.